When it comes to kettlebell training and really just training in general, sometimes we have to remove all the fluff, all the fancier, more advanced exercises, and just focus on the most simple yet most effective exercises and workouts. Hey, what's up guys? Jay here. So today we are getting after a very simple, on paper, yet highly effective kettlebell full body strength and conditioning workout. This is going to be a 12-minute follow along EMOM style workout. If you're not familiar with an EMOM stands for every minute on the minute. So we'll perform the prescribed reps of whatever exercise we're doing at the start of 1 minute. Perform those reps as fast as possible while maintaining excellent technique. Let's say you finish those prescribed reps in 25 seconds. You'll then have the remainder of the minute to rest, which would be 35 seconds before we start the next minute and perform the next exercise. We are going to be doing one full body exercise, maybe one of the most effective, if not the most effective full body exercises when it comes to kettlebell training. And you're only gonna need one heavy kettlebell to get after this one. This video is going to be comprised of three main parts. We're gonna start off first with proper single arm clean to push press technique to make sure you guys are moving well, you guys are moving effectively, and of course, training safely. The second part is going to be a fast and effective full body warm-up using resistance bands and our body weight. And then third, of course, we close things out with the full follow along 12-minute EMOM. For reference, I'm using a 32 kg, 71-pound kettlebell for this session. You guys should be selecting a weight that's bringing you very, very close to failure, on the cusp of failure, while still maintaining excellent technique. You should have full control over the weight that you are lifting. And no, this is not my full workout. It could absolutely be your full workout if you're pressed for time and you're using the right weight. You guys are gonna find out once we finish this thing off. It's gonna be a very, very challenging 12 minutes, but I program more into my kettlebell sessions and more into my full body kettlebell sessions. If you guys wanna check out my training app, 7 days, completely free on the app to try out all the programs and all the workouts, link in the description of this video. When it comes to my kettlebell training, I personally bring a more athletic approach and a more athletic style, which is why I'm gonna be teaching you guys and showing you the dead stop single arm clean to push press. The dead stop variations are going to be a little bit more effective and a little bit superior in terms of just building raw strength and max power output compared to a swing clean variation. Certainly feel free, if you guys like the swing clean variation better, feel free to throw that in instead of the dead stop. So first things first, we start off with the hip hinge. We need to be able to do a single arm deadlift properly. You need to master this movement pattern before you move on. So we start off standing above our kettlebell. I want the handle of the kettlebell cutting across the midfoot. Feet are gonna be about shoulder width, toes pointed straight ahead. Slight bend of the knees. We then push our butt back. We should feel a slight stretch in the hamstrings. Now we bend our knees to reach down for the kettlebell. Hips are slightly higher than the knees. We're then going to grab the kettlebell on the inner part of the handle. Do not grab over here, don't grab in the middle. Grab on the inner part of the handle. There can be slight internal rotation as well at the bottom. From here, we're going to pull our lat down and back. So pull that lat down and back to bring tension through the lat, through the hamstrings and through the glutes. Then I want you to pull your chest up. So one movement here, we bring tension into the entire body. Gaze is down and in front of the body. I do not want you looking up like this, down and in front. We'll take a breath in, brace the core. Then I want your chest and your hips to rise at the same exact time, bringing your hips to neutral, squeezing your butt to the top, then just reversing the movement. So we're here, pack the lat, exhale at the top, lower back down with control. Next, we're talking about the front rack position. So now that we know how to do a proper hip hinge, we can very safely grab this kettlebell with both hands, hand over hand, deadlift that weight up and just pull it up into the front rack position, of course, starting with very light weight. So we hinge at the hips, grab the handle of our kettlebell, hand over hand, lats down and back, deadlift, pull the kettlebell into the front rack position. Three main things I never want to see with the front rack. Elbow out here, I never want to see a broken wrist, and I never want to see the handle of the kettlebell cutting across the fingers as if you were holding a barbell. So elbow tight to the body, pinned to the body, vertical forearm, strong wrist position. If you were going to throw a punch, you would never throw a punch like this. You would throw a punch with a strong wrist to, of course, not break your wrist, but also throw the most effective punch. Knuckles pointed towards the ceiling. And then lastly, the handle of the kettlebell is cutting across from the top of the thumb down to the crook of the wrist, and the base of this kettlebell is resting on the forearm. If this is uncomfortable, you can always adjust it a little bit, and sometimes that completely takes the discomfort away. So elbow pinned to the body, strong wrist, knuckles pointed towards the ceiling, handle cutting across and down. Next up, we have everybody's nemesis, the clean. So the first thing I want you to know about the kettlebell clean is that it is predominantly a lower body explosive exercise. There are three main things that I want you thinking about, three technique cues while you do your cleans. The first one is going to be to jump, then it's going to be to shrug, and then pull. So jump, shrug, and pull. The first pattern that we're going to work to really ingrain this and really help us progress to a nice smooth kettlebell clean is going to be what's called a gunslinger. So we're going to start here. We're going to get into our deadlift position, grabbing the inner part of that handle. We're going to pack the lats down and back, take that breath in the brace. We're going to explosively stand tall, shrug, and then pull the elbow back behind the body. So we're going into this gunslinger position, pointing the bottom of that kettlebell forward, pulling the elbow back behind the body, keeping it nice and tight to the body. So we're here, jump, shrug, and pull. As you get more comfortable, you bring more explosiveness, jumping that weight up, keeping the kettlebell nice and tight to the body. As you get more and more explosive with the exercise, it starts smoothly rotating around the wrist as we jump that weight up. A game changer for this exercise, of course, is the gunslinger. But secondly, and maybe most importantly, is never letting the bottom of that kettlebell point towards the ceiling. Always keep the bottom of that bell pointed down and towards the floor. So we get into position, pack that lat, breath in, explosive with that lower body. We shrug and jump that weight up, keeping it tight to the body, keeping the bottom of the kettlebell pointed down and towards the floor. Next up, we talk about the push press. So two main cues, two main things I want you thinking about with the push press is number one, dip, and then number two, drive. So we're utilizing the lower body to explosively drive that weight up and overhead. So full hip extension, we then go into our shoulder press. So the dip portion, I want you guys keeping your chest nice and tall. We're not squatting here. This is not a slow lower. It's a quick dip, driving the knees out, keeping the chest tall, keeping the core braced. We then extend the hip, squeeze the glutes, brace the core. Elbow comes out slightly. We then press all the way overhead. If your shoulders are really tight, in order to achieve full range of motion, your body is going to seek the path of least resistance. So you're very likely going to arch your back and or flare your ribs to achieve that full range of motion. Focus by pulling those ribs down, keeping the glutes and abs turned on as you fully extend. You will exhale at the top, lower back down slowly with control to that front rack position. So quick dip, you'll brace. Explosively press overhead, lower down slowly with control. Now, once you've mastered all the moving parts, we're ready to put it all together in a single arm, clean to push press. I'm going to show you two different ways you can do this. First, we start off, we break it all down. We start off with that single arm clean, we dip, and we drive up. What you guys are going to see me doing in the workout is a little bit more advanced, takes more coordination, where I'm going to rebend and then go into that push press so that I'm cleaning, but also bending. So I'm catching in the push press and then going up into my press, which is going to help me cycle through the reps a little bit faster. So if you're less advanced, take your time. Clean, dip, drive. If you're more advanced, clean, right into that rebend, right into that press. All right, getting into our first warm-up exercise, we have the band pass-through for 20 reps. So we're warming up the shoulders, bringing the shoulders through a full range of motion, getting the smaller muscles of the scapula and shoulder girdle warm, active, and ready to go. So we're gonna be pressing a lot in this workout. So you're gonna be using a light resistance band. Start with a nice wide grip. Pull tension into the band. Arms stay straight throughout the entire range of motion. So as you get to the top, pull those ribs down, keep the core braced, glutes are turned on. Pull tension into that band. So pull that band apart to achieve better range of motion with straight arms. Touch your butt, come back around. If that's too difficult, start nice and easy. Start here until your shoulders start warming up a little bit and try to achieve further range of motion. So 20 full reps here. Next up, we have the RDL to band, bent over, pull apart for 15 reps. So warming up the posterior chain here. So we're warming up the hip hinging movement pattern in itself. Of course, not under load, but just starting to get those hamstrings stretched out, warmed up, as well as the lower back. And then with the band, bent over, pull apart, we're warming up that upper back and some of the smaller, more stabilizing muscles of the shoulder girdle and scapula, which play a huge role in just pressing weight effectively overhead and stabilizing that weight effectively overhead. So we start off, feet are going to be under the hips, slight bend of the knees. Lower down, so you feel a good stretch in the hamstrings. Spine is neutral. Pull that band apart with straight arms. So pull towards your sternum. Don't shrug and pull up here. Shoulders pull down and back. Pull towards the sternum, lower back. Then push your hips forward to hip extension, squeezing your glutes at the top. Lower back down. Pull apart, stand tall. Next, we have the walkout push-up to spider lunge T-frame for 6 total reps. So we start getting the body even warmer. We start bringing more intensity, getting that heart rate up, but also mobilizing the lower body as well as the upper body. So 6 total reps here. You guys can keep your legs as straight as you want as you walk down and as you walk back up. So we'll walk it out, push-up position, strong push-up, chest to the floor, press back up. Foot comes high into the outside of the hand. Back leg is going to be as straight as possible. You're going to post on the opposite arm. Pull this arm as far back as you can, really mobilizing that thoracic spine. Back to neutral. Then we go other side. T-frame. Walk it back up and stand tall. That is 1 rep. We're doing 6 total reps. Once the dedicated warm-up is complete, there's still more warming up to be done. So we can't just do the band and body weight work and then just grab our working weight and just start getting after it with full intensity. We need to build up the weight and build up the intensity before we get started to reduce the risk of injury and to perform at our best. So what I'm gonna do, for example, I'm gonna start light, 16 kg, hit maybe 5 reps per arm, rest 20 to 30 seconds. I'll then grab a 24 kg, same thing, 5 reps each side, rest maybe 20 to 30 seconds. Then I'm gonna grab the 32 kg, hit maybe 3, maybe 4 reps per side, then rest a minute, catch my breath, get my mind right, and then I'm gonna start the 12-minute EMOM. All right, we're getting ready to work here. I really hope my phone doesn't die. It's running low on battery. I'd be fucking pissed. All right. Start with the left arm first. 6 reps. Then we rest. Let's get ready. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Let's work. And rest. All right, all right, all right. So we're counting down. I know it's probably not ideal, but my bad. It's gonna get more and more challenging as time goes on. It's gonna start creeping up on us. So don't necessarily base it off of that first couple of sets. As I always say, focus on proper form, the intensity will inevitably come. So form before intensity. Right arm. 2, 1. I also don't want to bang my wood floors either. So I'm not gonna be slamming down. 2 more. 5, 6. And what I always focus on in terms of strategy with EMOMs is to keep the same exact pace throughout. Yeah, you might slow down a little bit, and the mind's gonna start creeping in of like, fuck, am I gonna be able to get this done? You know, oh, should I just take a couple more seconds rest here? Try to smash all that and just focus on same pace throughout. Consistency. Here we go, left arm. Hopefully the audio isn't too shit right now either. My apologies if it is. Try to breathe away from the mic. So you guys will see the fatigue's gonna start to accumulate quick. So keep your mind focused. Proper form the whole way. Be explosive. Let's go. Back to the left. Slow down that breathing. Here we go. Back to the left. I think it was the left. Hope so. 2 more. Think so, right? That's another challenge for you. Fucking do mathematics while you're doing this strength and conditioning work. Fuck. I only made it to 10th grade math. So, you're asking way too much of me with that mathematics shit. All right, here we go, right side. You guys can always have some lighter weight nearby, or maybe heavier, and adjust the weight as needed. Nothing wrong with that. All right, halfway through. Back to the left. Feeling good, 10 seconds, come on. Let's get it.
Yep, it's getting heavy. It's getting heavy. Even more important now to focus on form, because if the form's not dialed in, you might miss a rep. This is where the technique really transfers over to be able to perform clean reps with high intensity. So get dialed in. Get dialed in, get efficient. Here we go, right side. Simple and effective, man. Like I said in the intro as well, sometimes I just can't do all the variety and shit, you know? Like, I love all that stuff. Tons of variety in all my programming. However, sometimes we just need to turn off, man, and just perform simple work and get after it, you know? I think we're back to the left. Two more. Hands are getting slippery too. Use chalk if you need it. I should have some chalk nearby, but I don't. Back to the right. Hopefully I didn't mess this up. Hopefully we're not lopsided here, but we might be. And hopefully I didn't break my floor underneath here. Right side. Let's work, guys, come on. Stay with me. All right, I think it's one more set on each arm. Let's go. Back to the left side. Here we go. Dial in that technique. You should be on the cusp of losing the technique physiologically and mentally. I want to find that sweet spot. It's going to be different for each person, right? So find that sweet spot. That's where the real transformation, the real results are going to live. Responsibly, of course. All right, right arm. And then we're done. Let's get ready to finish strong here. Let's get it, guys. Two more. And done.